Welcome. Jeff Youngsma.
Present the county.
Would you be willing to lead us in the pledge?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh yeah, so as has been the case this year, as we experiment with hybrid, we're having some technical challenges today. So we here at the lovely Robert Livermore Community Center are having a difficult time hearing the folks that are joining us on Zoom. We are going to try and execute a workaround, and I'm going to mess with microphones close to the laptop and see if we can try and work this out. We're aware of some weird feedback you might be getting right now. Oh, I'm getting a yes on Zoom. Is that better? Better? Carolyn, would you do me a favor and tell a really short story?
I would be happy to tell a story. Can you guys hear me talking and telling my story about what a lovely time I had out at Coffee Ridge on Sunday? What a beautiful venue that is, and I hope more of my fellow club members will be joining me out there on February 25th for the big 75th anniversary party.
Carolyn, thank you. I think that works. We can kind of hear that. So we're gonna have to practice respect and you know, when we're not the ones speaking, trying to be quiet so we can hear who is speaking. And I think we'll get through this today. So again, thank you all for your patience and resilience as we will step out this week. So I see everybody's still standing here. You waiting for me? Take a seat, get comfortable. Today's going to be a lot of fun. So Zoom etiquette again. I will try and navigate the mic stuff. If you're not speaking, especially because we're having trouble with audio today, please mute yourself. That'll hopefully help. And here at the Robert Livermore Community Center, we are complying with current Alameda County Health Code guidance. And they had a sign out front that says masks are no longer required. If you're fully vaccinated. If you're fully vaccinated, right. Certainly, if you still are not comfortable, if you have reason to be concerned about loved ones, family members, and you would prefer to wear a mask, by all means, do whatever makes you feel most comfortable. So, having said that, then I'm going to turn it over to the songs.
Okay, it sounds like open It sounds just like I went to John Mathers memorial a couple days ago, and it sounds exactly the same. We're going to do a song that we've done historically, grand version. So we practiced. Actually, we didn't practice, did we? We were going to do 1 on 64, but we have to add 11. So that is a little awkward. I can do that. So we decided to go do something done in the past. Sam Steele, Jasper, and Nancy love this song, so we're going to do.
Yeah, and the speaker, because that's the only way. Right now we're having problems. You're getting it.
Okay.
No, I'm just trying to be only my right eye works.
I can turn it off.
I can't turn it off from here.
Let me fall, All right, thank you very much. So at this point, Kathy Coyle, talk for the day.
Sometimes it's hard. Well, hello, Mr. We should say Mr. Echo. How do you do?
Do you need a microphone?
No, I think I'm good. Can you hear me? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, bear with me here. When I was a kid, I used to think about how old I would be when we turned over to the 2000s. It seemed like such a long way of time. I couldn't imagine being a senior citizen then, and I still have a hard time with that. 2000 came and went without a cataclysm prophesied by the doomsdayers.
Kathy, you need to be a little closer to the microphone.
Okay, but you have no idea what it sounds like up here. Okay. Now we're 21 years past that milestone, and I'm definitely not wondering or thinking about 2100. My parents were born in 1922, and my first grandchild will be born this year, so 100 years apart. I imagine the changes he or she will see during their lifetime. In 1905, the year Paul Harris formed the first Rotary Club, my home province, Saskatchewan, joined the Confederation of Canada. In 1947, our club was chartered, and a person of destiny for me was born. He's not even kidding. Our club has seen so much change in the world, and our community, it's hard to fathom. Rotary today is all about sustainability in all aspects. We're all about plans and goals. I wonder if in 1905 there was any suggestion of 5-year plans, or if it was left to evolution. I think Paul Harris would be astounded at this point. Our club has survived and thrived through essentially 50 5-year plans, if we had done those. Unlike myself, I don't have that many plans left to make, these 5-year plans, but I see no reason why we won't be around to celebrate our 100th anniversary and beyond. I may not be around in person, but will be one of the many spirits in the room cheering us on.
So I'm gonna try an experiment and see if that is a little better on the echo. Yeah, so we'll work through this stuff, try things, experiment. It's the science way, right? All right.
Make sure you forget it again.
Yeah. So I saw a thumbs up out there from Zoom, so I hope you guys are hearing us okay still. Can I get a confirmation of that?
They're saying
Yes,
that.
okay, great. Okay, this sounds good. So we're gonna play with this a little bit. When folks on Zoom need to speak, I'm gonna need to turn my speaker on my laptop here, so there may be just a slight bit delay there as we record all of that stuff. Again, thank you all for your patience as we have this. Our meeting frontline today, the people that make this these meetings go out there, keep track of all our good folks on Zoom. Carolyn Siegfried, Carolyn, thank you very much for your help. Appreciate it. Spur reporter today, Lee Yonker. I didn't see him out there on Zoom, but I hope he's out there today on Zoom. Thank you, Lee. Great, get the thumbs up there. Dennis O'Brien, man in the AV today. Dennis, thank you very much, helping us navigate technical challenges. Very much appreciated. David Brown's out there, our chat monitor. Thank you, David. And our Spur publisher this week, Captain Coyle. Thank you, Captain. So So at this time, I'd like to welcome any visiting Rotarians. I don't see visiting Rotarians here in the house. Carolyn, do we have any visiting Rotarians on Zoom?
I do not see any.
Okay, great. Let me turn my mic off again. Okay, so hopefully the echo goes away. We have a guest joining us here today. And James, I forget. Oh, you know, somebody, Kyle, would you introduce our guest?
Yes, fellow Rotarians, I'm just delighted to have James Hayes here with us, checking out Rotor, asking how he found us, look this up. And so, welcome, check us out. For any of you who have things to share with him about Rotary.
Now get out of the way.
Welcome.
Welcome, James. Thanks for joining us. Zoom, any guests today?
No, do we have any guests?
I don't see any.
No, I don't see any at this point.
Let's see, there'll be student of the month.
Yeah, yes, Hank, and we'll, and if our student of the month has a conflict, then Principal Taylor will give us an overview with that. And so I should say, sorry, thank you, Hank, but we'll introduce him later, Principal Eric Taylor from Del Val. Sorry, Eric.
Nice transition. That's perfect. That's great. So Hank, do you want to go ahead and tee us up for student of the month then?
The student of the month this month comes from Del Val School, and Eric Taylor will introduce him. Eric Taylor, the principal of the school, will introduce him.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to recognize our student. Just so you know, I'm outside of Livermore High School. We had a fair, an apprenticeship fair that our students from Del Val attended at Livermore High School. And so, again, I'm sitting outside, so you might hear some cars going back and forth because I'm on Maple Street. And so I'm not sure if Danilo was able to join us today. He was out. He is in Kansas visiting his family. He does have access to the link, so I'm not quite sure if he is on or not today. But Danilo is our star student. Danilo is a junior, came to us from Granada. He's earned over 60 credits with us thus far, and that's not including the credits that he's earned already. He's looking to transfer back to Granada next trimester. And he's a very quiet, respectful, happy student. He's absolutely wonderful to have in conversations. He asks a lot of questions. He's curious a lot. He is really interested in the trades, more so welding, but he's really given a lot of time and a lot of what he wants to do after high school. So we are extremely fortunate to have Danilo with us, and it was a unanimous decision by our staff when I asked them about who the student of the month should be. So we're really excited, and he has his honor, he has his plaque and his goodies. So we're really thankful for what you guys have done. Not just for Danilo, but all of our students. It really helps just recognizing our students by the community. So we're very fortunate to have you guys as partners, and we're really grateful for the opportunity to do this.
Thank you, Principal Taylor. Sorry, I didn't see. Did Danilo join us? No. Okay. Okay. Well, turn off my echo chamber. There we go. Okay. So thank you, Principal Taylor. Thank you, Hank, for lining up that student of the month for us again this time. Much appreciated.
Absolutely.
And I would like to invite Kathleen to spell it wrong.
Yes.
We'll get that fixed. We'll get that fixed.
I promise.
What was Glenn's comment earlier? Like, I know if I can say we will get there, I promise. So Kathleen, come on up. Oh, it's not scary. So Kathleen, you're about to be the newest member of the Rotary Club.
Pretty cool.
So when Debbie Peck proposed you for membership, she gave you a great call. She saw in you characteristics which she thought would make you fine in tech. You've been chosen for membership because we're confident that the image and ideals of Rotary are safe and keeping. It is with great pleasure and my honor to welcome you as the newest member of the Rotary Club.
All right.
You fell wrong. No, that's still right. All right. The Rotary vest. So when you're out in the community, everybody will know what
And it all came from TJ.
all right.
Ask them to come on the other day.
She's gonna be great. Yeah, so Christian wanted everybody to know that Kathleen is very enthusiastic about getting involved, getting engaged. I understand she's been helping out with the craft committee. She's already signed up to work on something that really helps project. I think she's gonna be a great addition. Okay, so Mr. McMahon, there you are. Some Paul Harris Fellow recognition.
Well, fellow Rotarians and guests, today we honor 3 members of our club who have given very generous to the Rotary Foundation RI. And I'd like to begin with past President Jackie Williams Courtwright. If it's convenient for you to go up and join us. We're honoring Jackie today because every year Jackie donates as a member of the Paul Harris Society. And we don't explain how much she donates or even the Paul Harris Society donates, but she donates very generously to the Paul Harris Society. And Irv Stowers, who signed on this, is the District 5170 Paul Harris Society coordinator. And Jackie, I can just say a few words about why you donate to the foundation so generously. Thanks.
Thank you, Pat. You know, it actually all came back when Irv Stowers asked me to write a couple hundred words for the 75th anniversary booklet. And so I went back in my archives to kind of figure out, you know, all the numbers and what happened. And I clearly remember, you know, I always knew the benefit of RI. I saw it. I've been a member since 1991. I was president 2007-8, and then I went to the RI convention. So some of you, some of you past presidents have gone to really exotic places. I got to go to Salt Lake City. Really good time. Susan Gallagher went, Nancy Steele went, there are a couple other folks. We had a blast. One of the keynote speakers there was Bill Gates Sr. And Bill Gates Sr., he was an extraordinary speaker, great guy, attorney by profession. And he talked about RI. He talked about his own or his friends that only chose RI to donate to, and they were not Rotarians. Because they knew that 100% of the dollars that they would get would go to good use around the world and around the block. And so when I was at PETS, President of Work Training, and Phil Dean was on board then. So the deal was that what you should do is you should say, okay, take $200 and multiply that times your membership, and that's what your RI contribution should be. So I went, okay, I took a deep breath. I multiplied 200 times 150 members. It came up with $30,000. I went, oh, MG, is that even possible? Well, as you'll read in the copy that I wrote for her, you guys have just gone past. So our goal was 30,000. We ended up with almost 45,000 for the year, which is pretty extraordinary. And what was really great was that of that 45,000, $17,000 came back to our community. 17,000. It took 3 years for it to come in, but $17,000 came back. So it truly is benefiting those around the world and around the world. It is the greatest. Thank you.
I'd also like you to find Gwen Kubiak and Gwen Tenney to come up and say a few words about why they donate to us. We have a Paul Harris +2. Congratulations. And Linda Tenney is receiving a Paul Harris Fellow +5 pin. Let's hear it.
All I want to say is what Jackie said. Jackie covered most of the points before I get there. That's really amazing to see your mouths and chins again. Wow, you've gotten some gray there again. Looks distinguished. Very good. Anyway, it's great to see you all. Great to be here. I think we have record attendance since we've gone to hybrid. I counted 35 or 36. I think the prior was like 31. So way to go, everybody. The Rotary Foundation, obviously, it's just transparency. They do a phenomenal job, as Jackie said. I won't repeat that. Money comes back to the district, sometimes as much as close to half of that. Irv and Pat can correct me on that. So it has global reach. It's extremely well managed, and it also has a tremendous benefit to our local communities. And then the last thing I would say is that a lot of the work that they do is executed by people just like us, people that we trust, people who subscribe and live every day by the Rotary test. And so it's just an extremely effective and efficient way to give charitable donations, and I will continue to let you on the last breath, and I invite you to do the same. Thank you very much.
I just want to say, I just feel honored and privileged to be a part of this group and to contribute to the Paul Harris Society. I just think it's a wonderful way to spend my money. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Again, this club historically been incredibly generous. So that's awesome. So Sheila.
Yes.
Are we gonna have a party?
If he's gonna have a party, yes. All right. Okay, I know I don't have to come up here, but I'm coming up here because I want to make sure that I talk to not only our group, but those of you in Zoom land. So this is for you as well. So March 18th, our crab feed. This is a very important event. I know I'm getting redundant in my speech, but just to remind you, this is our major fundraiser. This is how we do good in the community. So we need you all, or stay in the middle. We need, what more than anything, we need volunteers to put this on. It's not a one-man show, but I am going to say that you all have been responding, and I want to thank you. We just have a couple areas in need of help. One that I'm surprised is the bar. Usually that's the first to go. So we need some help in the bar. Shifts are like 7:30 to 8:40. It's not a long time. Really could use our help, your help there. We also need a little bit of help with the setup and takedown of the bar. Again, I'm sorry. Again, very, very important because that and the raffle are really what make us money. The dinner ticket kind of pays for the rent for the crowd. So without the bar and the raffle, you know, that's our money maker. We need help with picking up food, people that have trucks, and then kitchen crew. We need 3 leaders. And again, you know, we're going to have volunteers there to help you, but we need some leadership. We're going to have the scouts help us in there. So those of you that are able-bodied, please reach out to our committee. And lastly, items for raffle. Diana Geyer has offered to put things together, but she needs things, okay? And I know some of you have donated things, and I appreciate that. I want to thank each and every one of you, but we can use more. And if you can't put together a whole basket, if maybe you have a favorite restaurant you go to, you can get a gift card or get a tire rotation or a massage, or your nails done. I'm just thinking of girl things as well, but still, any little thing, Diane can build something with it. And then also, you know, cash is king, so she can always go out and buy stuff too. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you in advance. If you're able to help us, we'd really appreciate it. And again, you all have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Sheila, thank you everybody that's working on that committee. I know that's a lot of work. I appreciate all your efforts there. So, Christian, you got a quick update for us?
Yes, sir.
Some more good stuff happening in the community?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. So how does everybody feel not wearing your mask? How do you feel? Unbelievable. Okay, we are getting closer and closer. March 19th is the build day for Sleeping Heavenly Peace, an organization that's determined to make sure that kids between 3 and 17 do not sleep on the floor. So we're going to actually go and build bunk beds, you know, for them. And I think, Carmen signed up already. Carmen Sightfried signed up. Sheila signed up. I signed up. Bob Talknut, of course. Did I miss anybody? Yeah. So anyway, unfortunately, it's a day after a crab feed, so no hangovers, no excuses. Please, yeah. So now something came to my knowledge last week. Then actually I started doing some research about the organization because it came from the district. I never really tried to vet them. I believe they're all fine and everything, but we want to give them $2,000 from the Lutheran Foundation. And surprisingly, they haven't responded to finish up their application, just name, contact, email address, and to verify that the local club here has a standing 501c status that is active. So I've called Daniel a few times yesterday, and I called him one again. I haven't returned my call. That's the chapter president. So anyway, quick disclaimer. You know, I know I've been encouraging you guys to donate as well. I'm not a tax person. I can't give tax advice. I don't know if the local organization 501c3c status is active to claim for taxes. Now they have their tax ID, the federal, the general you can use, but you have to talk to your tax person. So I don't know if they lose that $2,000, that would be sad because we're trying to help them out. I've got money to give. You know, Marianne is there, all the crew, they're ready to help these guys, and they haven't responded to my email. Just fill out the name, the contact number, you know, and tell us if, and they checked off something, they said it is not public school instead of community charity in the application. So kind of very sloppy down, you know. So I want to just give you guys heads up on that one. And once I get an update, I'll let Ken know to shoot out an email that you can always donate, you know, for the tax break. One thing I also, an idea that my cousin floated to me the other day, he takes a walk all the time. And he found out that many a time there are so many trees, oranges, you know, and lemons on the tree, you know, all over the place. So he's thinking, what if we can just, you know, assemble and pick up all these oranges and lemons and take that to Tribal Haven? And I made some inquiries, you know, with Tribal Haven and Open Heart Kitchen. Open Heart Kitchen, they don't have any need for that, but Tribal Haven does in their food pantry. So it's something that thanks to your advice, we're going to work with probably the interns, because they're going to climb this ladder to go get them up. I don't have anybody to up the trees. So I want to keep it beneficial to all concerned. So once we get that squared away, I'll let you guys know. Again, I thank you. Looking forward to the 19th building. You don't need to do anything. Just come on out there. You don't need to bring any tools. If there's any tool you have that you think you need to keep in your trunk, please, by all means, do so. But we're going to have a fun day. And if we get enough people, maybe you let me buy some breakfast. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much.
I'm lost for count.
There we go. Thank you.
Okay, I'm back. So a couple of quick things. Jackie, we did pretty good last week, right? Do you remember how much money we raised for Interactors? 75. 3375. $3,375. Mike, did you have a quick update for the 75th?
I'd like to see a few more of you there for the party. So please, if you haven't already, send in your checks to Debbie. It's 100 per, and hopefully you and your spouse or friend. Excuse me, and please encourage any past or prior members, I'm trying to say prior members, to encourage them to come too.
How many do we have?
We're little, I think we're probably getting close to 75, 76, something like that. I'd like to get these done. It'll be a fun night. Little dancing, an opportunity if you wish to dress up. You don't have to wear tuxes or suits, but at least a jacket. You haven't done it in a while. Got the mask. That's it. Thank you. Ridge.
75 couples or just individuals?
It's $100 per.
No.
No, 75 people. We can take up to 160. So yeah. Thank you.
Plenty of room. So thank you, Mike. Just one other thing that came to my attention yesterday, a former member of this club, Pat Francisco.
Yeah.
His dad passed last week. And I didn't know the man, but I understand he was a long time more president, teacher at the high school. So as we get more information about his funeral services, we'll pass that information. So next week, Bill Nebo is going to be leading us with a speech contest. And then with no further delay, the reason why we're all here today is because it's a big deal for us, right? This is our 75th anniversary. So The Rotary Club of Livermore was chartered on February 20th, 1947, so almost exactly 75 years ago. And since that time, we've been dedicated to making a positive difference, not just locally, but in the world. Today, we take time to celebrate the impact this club and all our past members have had. First, I want to thank and acknowledge some folks. So clearly, we're a club, right? None of this stuff happens without us. From our newest member who joined us today, to our many members who've been here for decades, and everybody in between. Thank you all for your efforts. As a service organization, we only get done what our member volunteers do, and this club does a lot. To give us a historical perspective on just how much this club has done and the impact that it's had, I'd like to thank Irv Stowers, and let's get It has been tapping people for information and going through old filing cabinets and dusty bins to try and put together the story of the Rotary Club of Livermore. And he's here to share that. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I need a picture. You're probably all aware that our club was incorporated or formed in 1947. When I started this short assignment a couple of months ago to kind of find out what the club has actually done, I started asking around, and it turns out Mr. Saveraria used to be the club historian. He was really good about saving newsletters. So it turns out this represents John Lynn's stack of newsletters when he was president. Well, it turns out there's about 400 pages in here, and Savareria's stack is about this high. It goes back about 40 years. So it's around maybe 30 or 40,000 pages. So I'm looking for volunteers like that. Write a short, synopsis. The one on the left, the little book one on the left, is after 40 years, they put together this little 13-page history, which was actually very helpful. And I'll tell you a couple of stories out of it. And then at the 50th anniversary, they put together one that's like a little newsletter. And I want you to notice particularly that the name of the club is Rotary, Livermore Rotary Club. And that'll come up a little bit later. But those are available. I have 1 or 2 copies of each of those, so they've survived in case anyone else wants to look at it. And my thing is not advancing, so maybe there. Okay. So it's not been, it says, 75 years since 1947, but in fact, there were actually an attempt to form the club in 1939. And there was a group of about 20 to 25 guys that got together, tried working on it. Turned out the guy who was in charge of the effort, Dr. Davis, who was in charge of the Livermore Sanitarium, got very sick and the effort stopped. And then 4 years later, they tried it again, and again through sickness, it failed. So it wasn't until actually 47 that we became officially accepted into Rotary. And that's a poster that they made up at the time of the original sort of 19 members. And I don't recognize any of them, way before my time. But I'm glad we were able to save that document. There's also the newsletters. And as I said, there's 30, 40,000 pages. If somebody would like to write a synopsis. Now, what did the club do? Because that's important. One of the things I should mention is back in 1947, by the way, dues were a little bit less. My notes say it was around $15. And there was an entrance fee, it was another $10 entrance fee or something like that. But the very first project was to collect food and to put it on a train and send it to Europe. I'm not sure what they did with the train when it got to the East Coast, but. So there's some pictures of the guys who actually put together about 12,000 pounds of food and shipped it off, and actually had a very kind of project. The very next thing in 57 was the crab feed. Was the first sort of major project, and I was surprised that the crab feed started that long ago. It's just amazing. This letter is an actual letter of the president in 67, 20 years after, and he was chastising the members that each member had to sell 2 tickets. That was their assignment, and they had to bring in $10 because tickets were $5 for the crab feed. And that's an actual ticket there that actually says $5. I have no idea how they did it. It was at Alameda Fairgrounds, and it may be that they got the fairgrounds for free or something. That's pretty amazing. It is a big event. It's grown and has a big attendance. Attendances tend to be 400, 450, close to 500 people, and it usually nets around $15,000 to $20,000. It has a great band, and people you probably know, and it has a great bar. Just like bars, and it has great people. You probably haven't seen in a long time. And the next thing that happened was in 1960. These are the major kind of things. Was we invented the process of having the students come from iHouse, and I learned that apparently from Stanford, we've had some visitors of a similar kind of organization from Stanford. And I was amazed out of the set of pictures I had, I could identify that at one given time, we had a student from Sweden, Korea, Italy, Turkmenistan, I guess it is, Tajikistan, and Romania. And then I got another guy from the US there. John. And a nice picture of Banky Brandon. Now, this is interesting too. In 66, the club gave away one of the older fire trucks in World War. And it said some little line that says 1951 white fire truck given to our sister city in Guatemala. But also in more reading, it says given and driven to Guatemala. So some enterprising Rotarian apparently drove in an open fire truck to Guatemala, and I'm not sure how he did that. But that's a picture of the truck with a red arrow. Interestingly, that was Livermore's fire truck in about 1966, because this picture was in the newspaper and they were advertising a fundraiser for the fire department. So they took a picture of all of their fire equipment, and stuff. The one that's second from the left is a 1920 Seabreak fire truck, and I worked on the restoration, and that's what it looked like when it got done in 2012. And in fact, the first 3 are maintained by the Livermore Heritage Guild in the garage, the Wardy garage. And there's another little piece of information where the arrow is showing is the second floor of City Hall. Well, the club used to meet there for one period, I think in 1948 or something like that. Now, that was the first 25 years. The next 25 years, and I had heard for a long time that the club's first project was filling the lights at the stadium. It took actually until 72 for that idea to start, and it actually was an 11-year project to collect the money and actually have it erected and installed. And that's the only pictures I have of it, but apparently it's still there. I've never actually gone to a night show there, but they're still working. Part of the fundraising was 2 concerts on different years, 77, 78, Mel Tellis and Tammy Wynette. And interestingly, apparently it rained on both concerts. And in 78, I guess it is when we adopted the radio that was faltering and sort of going out of commission. And then we have been running it ever since. And it's had upwards of 250 entries. It's now typically more like 100, 125, something like that. As a little aside, this fellow, David Volponi on the right, the guy in stilts, was born here in Livermore, and tell you the truth, when he graduated from high school, he ran away and joined the circus. The only guy that actually ever do that, and he did it on stilts, I think. The event brings out all the best of us, and I think John Shirley here on the left was a marshal of the parade at the time. And that's actually me driving the fire truck, partially restored. And it's a big event, it's free, and yeah, there's 10, 20,000 people so can watch. One of the things the club did was start, in particular, the Rotary Club of Livermore Valley. We're also responsible for having partnered and started the Pleasanton Club and the Dublin Club and the Tri-Valley Club. So we've been fairly active over the years in starting other Tri-Valley organizations. In '87, as a result, I don't know if you know all the details, but Rotary was a men's club for a long time, and most of the members liked that situation. And apparently it got to be a court case, and it actually went to the Supreme Court, and there was a decision that Rotary had no excuse to not introduce women. So the next year, Marilyn Carter, Bonnie Sibley, Sue Gallagher, and Joy Daisian became members of the club, and eventually Sue Gallagher became one of the presidents. And in 1990, Paul was associated, Paul Thompson, with the Nepalese Children's Fund, and that's been going since that period. Now, I might say the modern period, which you should know a lot more about, is we actually had colored film and cameras. And we were able to, I had a lot of trouble also finding for a booklet. We're trying to put together, by the way, a booklet to kind of rival the 40th year and the 50th year booklets on, and so it will be the 75th year. And I've been trying to get pictures of all of the presidents for 75 years. And there's a lot that, I don't know where they've been, but you can't find them in the old newspapers, and they're not in the programs. And unfortunately, the newsletters in the way back period, the newsletters were black and white, and a lot of times they didn't have any pictures. They just had words. So it's we don't know who the guys are. We know the names, and that's about it. Now, one of the big events around 1998, you might say the turn of 2000, was when Rotary started returning its donations. Prior to that, it had a foundation, but the foundation was primarily collecting funds for polio relief. And so I'll show you the graph in a second. But around the turn of that century there, the club lit up and started making much larger contributions to the Rotary Foundation, and the money primarily went to foreign activity. So there's a list of all the countries And more recently, it's started to be more South America as opposed to European countries. This is a graph I just obtained, which is remarkable to me that we finally got some data. Unfortunately, I wish I had the data back to 1947, but it starts around 1986. The red bars on the left are primarily polio contributions that go for probably about 10 years. And then there's a series of gray ones that you'll see, and they tend to be disaster relief, earthquakes and fires and things of that sort. And then the dark blue ones, which are predominating the last 20 years or so, are the share funds or the annual funds, which is the money that goes in, and then half of it comes back. It can be split between domestic and international projects. And the international projects you can match with the other half of your money that they put into something called the World Fund. Very complicated process, but you do get an awful lot of the money back. And after about 2018, our total club contributions reached $1 million. And just recently, we broke 1.6 million due to some very significant endowment funds. And I'm pretty sure these are anonymous donations, and they usually are, you know, somebody's will. So you can think back of who might have done this. I don't know. In 2004, we started the dictionary project. Very successful. It's now switched over to a readable book as opposed to a dictionary, but I think this will continue on. 2007, we started a Maryland or Mary Lynn Avenue barbecue. And I particularly like the picture at the bottom of all the volunteers with a lot of old standby members that are in the program. In around 2010, we started the READY program to help students, actually tutoring a few hours a week, and in particular field trips. And I think a lot of cases, these kids get an awful lot out of the field trips because they're places that they have never gone. I mean, even Del Val, I understand the kids had never gone. And the fire department and, meet famous people and get tutoring.
And Paul.
In 2011, one of many projects, this one exemplifies one of the projects that was designed by computer-aided design. It's a fairly simple ramp, but it was used by another charitable organization to allow disabled kids to get on a horseback and then, take a ride on horseback. Again, sort of the first time that happened. In 2014, we probably did our largest single project. Was again a CAD design of the Rotary Bandstand down at Carnegie Park. It cost the club with donations around $100,000, and the city has valued it at about $250,000. So that was a really nice structure that we know was getting used. And there's some construction projects with lots of volunteers. And I mean, it literally is one that we built, which is nice. Interesting thing. Notice that this booklet says Livermore Rotary Club. Well, in 2014, we changed the name. And it's basically kind of at Rotary's request, but it was also to become characteristically having a name that fitted in with what Rotary wanted, which is Rotary Club of something. And it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal because you actually get registered with it's the governor, no, it's not something governor. Secretary of State. Secretary of State, yes, right. You have to apply to the Secretary of State, fill out some paperwork, and actually legally change the name of the club. So when you're talking about the club, don't forget we are the Club of Livermore. Around 2015, and this is a date we're not sure of, we started the RAVE program to help veterans, and some nice pictures of John Shirley and some veterans over Las Positas. And one of the things we do over the years is we try to have fun. So we do things, you might say, for ourselves. One of those is being the retirement party, or known by other names, but a retirement party for passing presidents. And we take trips. We went to Angel Island, it's a nice trip. And some of the people went up to, or down to Beale Air Force Base. So that's our survey one. And that's kind of the end of my quickie history. It's almost 1/3.
Irv, thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate all the time and effort that you put into that. Cool. Good job, everybody, right? Hands on the back. We've had a big impact locally, we've had a big impact in the world. And this is just the first 75 years, right? Who knows what's gonna happen in the next 75 years, so with that, I want to thank you all for joining us today, and go out there, be safe, be kind,